And hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate. Glad to be here with you all today. Thanks for joining me on the channel. The name of this broadcast today is How to Repair a For Real Blender Era Code 91. This was a job site that I went to recently to work on a For Real Blender that had a Era Code 91 message on their display screen. So I need to tell you a few things about this particular unit because it is an older unit. It is one of Freestyle's older models. This is a model that it's a um, give me one second here. Let me. Sorry, I just have some calls coming through. Give me one second. Okay. Sorry about the interruption there. But like I was saying, this is a for real blender. This is one of their older models. It's model number FRLB4. So it's a B4 model, they would call it. They do have another model that is called a FLRB. I'm sorry, FRLB6. They have a B6 model. They have the B4 model also. That is common in most of your C stores and mom and pop shops and stuff. So you will see these out there in the field. Before I get started, I'd like to thank all of you viewers, all of the channel members, and all of the website members. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching these videos, and thank you for your great comments and questions. And then also, I'd like to I'll put this number up throughout the video, but it's for real tech support line. You can see that number up on the screen right now. And then I will also put up the for real tech support text line. You can, they have the capability of you texting the service tech support service department. And they usually do get back to you while you're on site if you ever are in need of help. And another thing I'd like to stress is the importance of um, contacting these tech support on from the manufacturers because they can help you out tremendously when you're in a jam on a job site or something that you're not able to figure out. You know, reach out to them. Don't hesitate to reach out because they will help you out. And up on the screen now, I have the for real tech support text line also. So I'll put those up periodically through the video so you can copy those down because that will help you a lot. And so now this particular machine had an error 91 message, and that error 91 error code is a bad mix motor. Okay, but in that within that that motor being bad, that also creates an issue with the HVCB board, the high voltage circuit board. So if you ever run into this, it's important for you to know, and I'm going to explain it as I go through the video because it's very important. It's important for you to know that if you do run into the instance where you have a error 91, um, and you're trying to get this machine back up and running, it's important for you to know that if you have that error 91, it is best for you to replace the mix motor and the board at the same time. Okay, don't try to um, just replace the board. I'm going to show you like about checking your fuses and testing out your motor and the mix motor and on the HVC board, and you're gonna check those out, and you may have continuity on your fuses on that HVC uh, HVCB board. So if you have voltage on your high voltage board, or if you have continuity on your fuses on that high voltage board, that doesn't necessarily mean that the board is still operating correctly. Okay, so it's important that order you call the tech support line and then explain to them what you have going on. Okay, and then get the part number for the HVCB board, and then get the part number for the mix motor. And if there's anything else that you notice, you might want to bring that up too, because you want to order those parts as well. But um, in most cases, if the customer isn't still under warranty, and in this case, the customer was not under warranty, but I'm going to explain what had happened with this customer because um, it does come up from time to time. But you'll want to order that board and you'll want to order the motor and you'll want to replace those at the same time. You don't want to take a guess and try to replace the board, the HVCB board first, and then test try it because that if you don't replace the motor and the board, more than likely, if you just replace the board, that motor's gonna blow that board again. Okay, so then either you or the customer will have to order a new board and a new motor over again. So you want to avoid that. The best thing to do is to order the mix motor and then order your HVCB board and then replace them both at the same time. Uh, get everything reassembled, get your unit back up and running. It'll go through an initialize cycle, then it'll go into a deep clean, and then it should go into operation for you where you can do a test blend with the machine. So just remember that and try to keep that in mind because it's very important that you don't make that mistake. It's happened to me in the past, and it's just never good when a customer has to spend extra money because for the just one piece was replaced at a time, and then you should have replaced them both at the same time. So that's just some helpful information for you to uh, keep in mind. Let me pull up the screen here. This is the unit that I was working on, and there were a few other issues that I found as well. Like I said, this is an older model machine, so it's going to have some issues. Um, give me one moment here. Okay. Okay. So right over here, if you can make it out, let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Right over here, this is your HVCB board, okay, your high voltage circuit board. This is the board that you're going to be replacing out, and then I'm gonna scroll through a few other images to show you where the mix motor is at. Uh, this terminal right over here, this white terminal, that's the mix motor terminal. Okay, and that line is going up to the mix motor. The mix motor is on top in the top section of the machine. Right here, this black screen, this is the display screen for the blender. And that will give you, that's where the error codes come up. That's where the messages come up for you to uh, diagnose the unit. And so basically, you're working with those two things when you have that error 91. That's a mixed motor error. And you'll want to replace both of them at the same time. Again, right here, I'm just showing you the display on there. And again, that's the right side panel. Okay, so when you're gonna get into repairing this machine of that era code 91, you're gonna take off your right side panel, and I usually just take off both panels. So I'm just showing you that you take that right side panel off, and you could take your left side panel off. And you're not really going to be doing too much over on the right side, but just in case there's any other issues going on, it's best to take that off. And then you'll also have to take off the top cover, the top panel right here. So I have the top panel removed, and I just have it sitting back against the wall there. And then this is your mix motor right here. This is the line terminal that's going down to the HVCB board. Okay, that's that line. And this is the motor itself. That's just a close up of the motor wire cable going down to the board. And right here, see if I can make it a little bigger. You might be able to make it out some, but right down here in the corners, there's 4 nuts that are holding this motor in place. Okay, those nuts will have to be removed. You could see a little better right here. There's one there and one there, and then there's 2 on the other side. You just have to replace those, remove those those 4 nuts, and then you can remove your motor. You can pull that motor out after you remove the mixing blade and the weight, the top weight, which I'll show you. Right now, this is where I have already replaced the board. Okay, I've already replaced the board. The board itself has about 6 uh, screws that are holding it in. There's 4 on each corner, on each of the corners, and then there's 2 more in the center on the end. So just remember that. Um, see if you can make it out here. These are the fuses. This is the mixed motor fuse right here. This is your pump, your water pump fuse, and then this is like a main fuse here. Okay, so um, these fuses, you want to check those. You want to check those for continuity just to see where you're at. Okay, so you check those out, see if you got continuity, but you're still going to replace that board. Okay, so even if you have continuity, if you have an error 91, you want to replace the board and the motor at the same time. So I hope that's clear. Um, but you do want to check for continuity on your fuses, just in case if you even call if you call for real and you're talking to for real, they're going to ask you if you've checked the fuses and if you had, excuse me, if you had continuity on your fuses. So once you have checked the continuity on your fuses, and then like here, I have the new motor in place, I have the board in place, I have the terminals are connected and everything. But for right now, let me just explain to you what happened at this site because originally the owner, the store owner, he didn't call he didn't call me to come uh, check this out. He had um, did a walkthrough with for real tech support, and they were able to walk him through troubleshooting what was going on, and then they um, sent them a video on how to replace the board. But the one thing is that the owner, he says he wasn't told, but I'm pretty sure he was told this. But for real, will always tell you that that board and the motor should be replaced at the same time. The owner, he didn't do that. He wanted to try to take the cheap way out, and he he just ordered the motor. I'm sorry, he just ordered the board to be replaced. So they sent him a board, a HVCB board, and he hired an electrician to come and replace the board. So the electrician did his job. He did what he had to do. He replaced the board for him, and then they attempted to operate the machine. And like I said, when you replace one without replacing the other, there's going to be problems. And immediately they had problems. The cup will go up and then it will get stuck and then it will go back into the era 91. So this is what was happening, and it's because they didn't replace both both components at the same time. Um, so what happened was when they tried it out, the this mixed motor fuse had blown, and the electrician checked it and the fuse was blown. But what the electrician did was he went and he took one of the fuses from the old board, the board that he just took out. He took a good fuse from that and put it in there, and he figured it'll work fine now because now I have a new fuse in there and the fuse is good. But it doesn't work that way because remember that motor, that mixed motor is still faulty. Okay, so even though the fuse was good, it still is not going. The blender is still not going to work properly. So that's where they messed up with that. So at that time, when they got the era back up again, even after replacing that fuse down there, that's when he called, and then I went out there. And at this time, he didn't mention to me that fuse had blown the second time. So I'm unaware of that when I'm there. So I'm checking everything out, and then I did tell him he's going to have to order another board, and he's going to have to order a mixed motor. And then I would come back and then replace both of them at the same time. And I had to explain it to him the same way I'm explaining to you that you have, with that era, you have to replace both at the same time. And it's the same with this water pump um, motor here. This wire right here. This is going to the motor pump that's down in the back. and sometimes that goes too, and you have to replace. It's best to replace both the board and that motor in both cases, and I'm sure the people from the technicians at For Real would agree with me on that one. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up having to replace that board and then replace the motor at the same time. And then right here, I'm just showing you that this is an older unit and it does have some other damage. I don't know if you can make it out, but I'm going to try to zoom in on this so you can see. But right here, see this little line? That's a crack. That chamber, that inner chamber is cracked over here. And I found another crack on the other side. So um, I did mention this to the store owner that he does have cracks in the um, chamber, and he really doesn't want to put more money into it. So basically, this is every time this rinses or does a deep clean or anything like that, it's going to drip out. So he's going to have um, like puddles forming underneath the machine and at the bottom of the machine and on the counter and stuff. But for right now, he doesn't want to go in and replace it. But I wanted to show you that. And then also, this is the shaft, the motor shaft for the mixed motor. This is that shaft, and you can see that little indention slot right there. I'm going to show you what that's for in a minute. Once I go through a few more of these, um, because there's a blade that attaches to this shaft, but you have to take that blade off. Okay, so you'll have to remove the mixing blade from here. It just screws out, but you're gonna have to use two wrenches to get it off. You use two 7/16 wrenches, and a lot of times, For Real, when they send you the new motor, when they send the new motor to the customer, there's usually two wrenches within the package for you. So you will get those wrenches if you ever have to replace a motor. Okay. And again, I'll put the tech support line up there again for you, just so you can see it. Um, but yeah, I want to show you that shaft that goes there. This is the mixing blade right here. And as I go through these, I don't have these in any particular order. So I'm gonna show you the old mixing blade that was on there. It got damaged when when they attempted to use it beforehand. When they attempted to use it after replacing just that one component, so it caused the weight to damage that blade. So I had him order a new blade as well. So this is that new blade, and you can see the screw threads up there, and that's where this is the end that's going to screw into the motor shaft right here. Okay, and this also has a little indention on there for that 7/16 wrench to fit around, so you can tighten it up, and you just use two of them and you tighten it up like that. Okay, and that's just showing you the shaft again, and this is the cup weight right here. It just sits like this, and then when that cup is when the blender is getting ready to blend, that cup is going to come up through here. This section will flip up and the cup will come up, and then it'll meet this blade and the weight, the cup weight. It'll meet that, and this will straighten out and secure that cup while this blade is spinning. Okay, so that's how that works. And this happened. Um, this happens to be the old style cup weight. The newer models have it's a little smaller, but still heavy though. They're heavy to keep that cup in place. And while this blade is spinning to mix up the product. And again, I'm just showing you the indentation piece here. So what you want to do is once you get your new motor on, you're going to have to raise this cup weight, raise it up. And then what I use is I use a pair of pinch offs around the shaft section. And you don't have to do it too tight. It's just you just want to use a pair of pinch offs or a pair of pliers that a clamp around that shaft so that you can push this weight up past this indentation point, and then that way you have enough room to be able to tighten your mixing blade on the bottom. So you're going to raise this weight up past this point here, and then put your pair of pliers or a pair of pinch offs um, right up here to hold that weight up. So you're not trying to do like three things with one hand. Okay, you can clamp off that right up around that shaft area, and then that weight will be up out of your way so that you can use both hands to get your mixing blade on there. And then right here, I have everything back in place. I have the unit back up and running. It is operational now. Um, I still have to let it go through an initialization cycle. It'll initialize and then it'll go into a deep clean. The deep clean is about between 12 to 13 minutes, I believe. But it will go through that deep clean, and then it will be ready to go so that you can do a sample blend to test it out, a test blend. And then right here, I'm just showing that we have the screen is blank because there's no errors or anything. If there was any issues, it would show up here on the screen. Right here, it's initializing. Okay. Then here, you can't really see it. It's doing uh, a rinse cycle. You can't really tell. It's a little glare right there, but that's what it's saying. It's startup rinse. And then this it was searching for the SBC um, sensor. It's just giving you the status, and then right here you might be able to make that out. That says homing. That's the cup holder on the bottom front of the blender. That's the cup holder, and it homes. It goes up, it raises up, and then it'll settle back down. It'll lower itself, and it does it on its own. And that's called the homing cycle. That's where it's that cup holder is making sure that that cup holder is in the right position. And now it's sanitizing. Now it's in sanitize mode. That's what that says. But as you can see, it gives you all of the status on that side panel. And now here, this is where the blender is in the deep clean mode. It's pretty much getting close to being done with the deep clean mode. About 5 more minutes left, and then I would At that point, that's when I would go ahead and do my test blend. Yeah, this right here, this is the that old mixing blade. See how damaged that got? And I think it got like that mainly because, like I said, they didn't replace the board and the motor at the same time. And then the board, um, the motor, spun, and then that weighted piece kind of got jammed against the blade, and then this piece right here just got demolished. You can see it's all ate up. That's no good. So I had to have them go ahead and order a new one just to have everything. And then that's just another picture of the cup weight, and then the mixing blade. And then right here, this was just showing you, this was what I found in the beginning when I first came into the site. It had that catastrophic error 91. So that's what you'll see when you have that type of an error. That's what will come up. And again, like I said, just with this, um, it's important to remember to always call your tech support if you're not sure on anything, or if you need some clarification on anything. It's important to always give them a call and just kind of walk them through what you've done already, and the steps that you've taken to allow them to be able to help you out. They're great with for real. I love working with them, and they're always helpful. And that's one thing that they will stress to you, if you tell them you have that era 91. First thing is you're going to need to replace the board, the mixing board, and um, I'm sorry, I said the mixing board. I meant the mixing motor and the circuit board, the high voltage circuit board. Okay. And then you'll be, you know, at least you'll be set up enough to be able to get the unit back up and running. Once again, you'll be able to get it back up and running, and then it'll go from there. Um, Let me go back through a couple of things just to see if I can show you some positions here. Okay, on these, this is that mixed motor terminal, okay? That's the mixed motor terminal. And when you're on site, you're already going to check that fuse, okay? You're going to check that fuse for continuity, but you're also going to check across your ground, your green wire right here, and the red. Okay, go from the red wire to ground with your multimeter on volts DC. That's volts DC. So make sure you remember that. Okay, and that's with the power on. You're gonna go across the red and your green, your ground, and then you should get 80 volts DC. Okay, and then you can go, there's a black wire here, there's a red, and then there's a green. So you want to go across your black wire and your green and your green wire, okay? Check there with power on, you should get 80 volts DC, okay? Um, if you shut the unit down and you want to check your continuity. You want to check across your wires on the mixed motor. You want to check across there, and you should get between 4 to 6 ohms, okay, on those wires if you're checking continuity. If you're checking DC voltage from there, you want to you should get 80 volts DC. So that'll let you know, that'll help you know that, hey, yeah, I have a bad motor. But more than likely, if you have that Era 91, always just go with replacing the HVCB board and your mixed motor. That's the best way to do it, because it's going to save you from having a lot of hassles. Because if you have a customer that's um, ordering the parts, if you're not the one that's getting the parts, the customer's going to pay X amount for um, whatever. Like, the customer's going to be paying for these parts. And let me see if I can get a roundabout number for you. Give me a second here. Let me see. I'd say simply, yeah, HVC. You're probably looking between $200 to $300, okay, for the HVCB board. The mixed motor, you're looking at between 3 to 400 for the motor itself. So if you have a customer and you diagnose it as needing just the board, but you had an Era 91, that customer is going to be kind of upset when you go there and then the machine still doesn't work, and then they're going to have to reorder another motor, another board, and a new motor, because that's just why it's so important. And that's the same thing with your water pumps. I always advise that to change them both at the same time, because you're taking a risk at having a unsatisfied customer that's out a few bucks because of a misdiagnosis. Okay, so and always contact tech support, man. I'm telling you, make sure you contact your tech support lines and talk to the technicians there, and they will let you know which way would be the best way to go, especially if you're working on your own, and you have customers that are relying on you to give them good information. So looks like that's all I have for now on this. I hope this was helpful to you, and just keep in mind, reach out to tech support, when you're dealing with any of these manufacturers. It's always best to reach out to tech support. That's what they're there for. They're there to guide you through and help you out on site. So I thank you all for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And visit our website. We got a lot of information on the website as well. And I thank you all again. Take care and stay well.